Hey everyone, Steven here, and today I'm reviewing the NZXT Relay headset. This is a wired headset from NZXT, which has slowly over the last couple of years been moving away from just making PC cases and certain components for those cases over to peripherals and monitors for PC. So very interesting with this headset. It is their first attempt at a headset. I reviewed other things in terms of peripherals like their capsule microphone in the past. I love all of their cases for PC, so just interesting to see their take on what they want to bring to the market in terms of these peripherals. But before I get into the good, bad, and gray area, let's go ahead and cover the specs with this headset. And I do want to note, this is the actual microphone. I do all of my reviews like this. I utilize the microphone for the entire video, not just a small sample. And in terms of edits and post, I'm just trying to make sure that the levels are where they need to be. So some minor adjustments may be there, but I haven't done anything to clear up the audio. I haven't layered on any type of adaptive noise reduction or anything like that. So just keep in mind, this is pretty much the raw audio here. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get over into the specs now. So for this portion, I will have video of me unboxing this rolling while I talk about these specs. I do want to start with the weight here. It is 269.5 grams with the microphone, and without the microphone it is 263 grams. The cable length is 6.56 feet, which is 2 meters. This does have the 3.5 millimeter audio jack, or you do have an adapter that allows this to be plugged in via USB. For the headphones themselves though, the driver size is 40 millimeter. These are neodymium drivers. The frequency response is 20 hertz to 40 kilohertz. The total harmonic distortion is less than 1% at 1 kilohertz. Sensitivity is 113 decibels at 1 kilohertz. Impedance is 32 ohms. This is high-res audio certified, and then you do have the DTS Headphone X spatial audio with this as well. For the microphone, the frequency response is 100 hertz to 10 kilohertz. Total harmonic distortion is less than 1% at 1 kilohertz. Sensitivity is 1 kilohertz. The polar pattern is cardioid unidirectional. This is detachable, and the size is 0.24 inches, which is 6 millimeters. For the materials, the fork is aluminum, the frame is plastic, and for the headband and ear pads, it is memory foam with the leatherette covers. On the headphone cable close to the headphone itself, you do have a clip that has a volume dial and mute button as well. For system requirements, this is going to work with Windows 10 or 11. You get to adjust this with the NZXT CAM software, which we're going to take a look at here in a second. And this is where the USB adapter comes into play, because in order to utilize the different options that the software has, you have to connect it via that USB adapter. And then the warranty on this is 2 years. I do like seeing that. So not just a 1-year warranty, there is a 2-year warranty with this. Inside of the box, you have the headset itself, the detachable microphone, the 3.5 millimeter audio cable with the volume and mute control. That is detachable, by the way. So you can take that out if you want to travel with this, and it just makes it easier to travel with, so you're not bending the cable around the headset. You get the USB adapter, and then this does come with a 3.5 millimeter dual jack adapter as well. The normal price on this is $99, so $100 here, but I've seen this on sale. As a matter of fact, I got mine on sale for $49.99, so $50, half price off. I would keep an eye out for those sales on this, because we're coming into Black Friday and the holiday season. It just seems like something that they have put on sale quite frequently with this. But now that we've covered all of the different internal specs here, let's go ahead and shift over now to the software and the different options that you actually get with it. So this is the NZXT CAM software. I will give NZXT credit here because this has gotten so much better over the last couple years, and as they've added in these new PC components, these peripherals, we start to see those options now pop up here as well, so that you can make those adjustments. So it's not multiple software that you have to use, it's just this one. I do like that fact. So here we have audio. Up at the top, these are your different profiles. So you can add a profile. You have default, movies, games, music, and then bass boost. With this, the 3 main things that you can adjust are the volume, of just the overall headset here, right? The volume of the microphone, and then side tone is audio monitoring. So if you want to check what do you sound like before you hop into a game or something like that, or record something, you can do that really quick, or just leave it on. Up to you there. And then we have DTS, and this has its own profiles. So you have off, music, movie, voice, RPG, MOBA, FPS, and custom. With custom for the surround sound effects, you have off, front, wide, and traditional. And then at the very bottom, you have the equalizer, so you can adjust this to your liking. I do like this for the simplicity that this offers, but if you need something that has more customization, whether that's to the surround sound or the microphone, you're going to need to look elsewhere, at least for right now. Maybe down the road they do some adjustments and they update this that gives you more control, but I personally like the fact that it's very simple. But in terms of, for instance, the microphone, voice clarity adjustments or adaptive noise reduction or just noise reduction, you don't have those options here. If you're looking at the surround sound in terms of tweaking the positions of the different speaker placement within a 3D space like some other software offers you, you don't get that. You just get these. Hey, I want it to the front. Hey, I want it wide. Hey, I want it traditional. So something to think about before you purchase this. What I will say about the microphone though is it sounds really, really good. So although you don't get vocal clarity and noise reduction and some of those things, to a certain degree, I don't know that it needs it because the microphone here performs very, very well. But with that being said, that actually gets us over now into the things that I like about this microphone, the good stuff here. So let's shift over now to that before we get into the potential downside in the gray area and then wrap the video up. So to start here, I do want to say that when I first unboxed this and used it for about a week, I wasn't initially very impressed. As a matter of fact, I felt a little bit let down with this product, but as I've used it more, I've become more and more impressed with it. And that's why I do like spending larger amounts of time with a lot of these products instead of just a quick turnaround that I see some other channels do. It's hard to really gauge how good a product is in a couple hours. You need to spend some time with it. Having spent a little over 2 months with this product now, the audio in terms of the quality, initially I was like, but as you go through all the different settings, you realize that they are very distinct. I don't see that with every single headset that I've reviewed. This is very, very distinct with the sound profiles between each. I like that. I mentioned a second ago, the microphone. And I do know that if you have a microphone on a headset that is connected via the USB or you're getting power to it, it's going to sound better. And I've been reviewing wireless headsets now a little bit more so than wired headsets. I just prefer wireless. But the microphone on this, it's really good. That tinny sound that you get out of a lot of wireless headsets is not there. You still get that with some wired headsets, but again, in general, I do know that wired headsets tend to perform better than wireless headsets. I gauge this based off of not only just the overall quality, but I think, hey, if I was a content creator, could I utilize the microphone on the headset and make content? With this one, I absolutely think that you can. I think it sounds really good. And also keep in mind, this is unedited. I'm not doing anything in post outside of just making sure that the gain levels are all even to this. I could clean this up even more and make it sound really, really sharp if I wanted to in Adobe Premiere Pro. So overall, I am extremely happy with the microphone here. The pop filter does a decent job. Keep in mind, if I bring this closer to my mouth, obviously you're going to pick up on more of those pops versus moving it away. It may sound like you're just far away. I like that they include the pop filter, but it also has its limits. It is detachable. I like that fact. That way I'm not just having something sitting here unless I want to utilize it. And then all of this works very well with the software. Again, simple, clean to utilize. You're not dealing with a ton of options, nor does it need it. So the vocal clarity and the adaptive noise reduction, I don't know that it really needs all of that because the quality of the sound that you can capture with this is so good. And the headphone here, in terms of the aesthetic, I like it. It matches the rest of what NZXT offers. It fits their unique look that they're going for. If you look at the other audio equipment that they have launched as well, so you have the stand and then you have the speakers, it fits with all of that. So they've created a very unique looking ecosystem for their products that don't really look like anything else out on the market. It's very clean and simple, and they took the audio equipment here that they wanted to launch and they made it fit within that. So kudos to NZXT. I do like the fact that it comes with the white version, which is what I have, or a black version. And to cover the audio quality for this in terms of the different profiles and everything like that one more time in a little bit more detail, I like the sound. They all sound very distinct. So it's not just, hey, they all kind of sound very, very similar like I mentioned, but with that, when you're switching over to like FPS, that does help you. I can, with the 7.1 surround sound here, the DTS audio, I can pick up like, oh, somebody's coming up from behind me, versus it all kind of sounds muddled sometimes with headsets, and I can kind of hear it, but it's not drawing out the treble, for instance, in that is geared towards footsteps. That's where this stuff matters with the audio quality and the different audio profiles that they have here with the DTS 7.1 surround sound. So I think they really nailed it on the audio quality side as well. So solid microphone, solid audio quality, and again, keeping it very simple here. And the last thing I'll finish with is the audio. You have dual control because you get to adjust the dial that is on the cable, and then whatever the source is if you're using this with PC specifically. And because of that, these get incredibly loud, and they can handle that. They can get to a point where it's going to be too much for your ears, but again, having this very vast amount of control over that audio is great. Now you shift over to a console, it still gets loud enough for sure. It's going to get a little bit louder on PC though, so keep that in mind. Now that I've covered everything that I like about the headset here, let's shift over to the bad, and I'm happy to report I only have one thing, and that is that the ear cups don't swivel. I always prefer headsets that have that level of swivel where they can rotate all the way and essentially lay flat on your shoulders if you needed it to, or on a desk. With that adjustment that this doesn't have, because you can literally just tilt these in or out, which is good. I like that adjustment. You get the height adjustment of the headband, but if it can swivel, it matches the shape of your head better, so it just feels more comfortable for long-term usage. And again, this is something that I think every good solid headset should have, especially when we're looking at these higher price points. So that is the only negative there. Let's shift over now to the gray area, which are things you may or may not care about, starting with no USB connection, or really, and with that app customization on a console. Even if, for instance, like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, if they have that USB port, you're not going to get any audio out of it. You have to switch to the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the controller. The thing to consider with that, though, you're not getting the NZXT app customization, which I think is one of the bigger selling points with this. You get that on a PC. Shifting over to consoles, it's whatever they have. So for the PlayStation 5, it has the 3D audio, and this will work with that. It still sounds very good. And then for the Xbox Series X, you have the DTS audio. Now on the PlayStation 5, I can choose to just have regular stereo audio or the 3D audio, which is essentially surround sound. On the Xbox Series X, by default, this to me sounds like just 2.0 audio. It's just regular stereo. If you want the DTS audio, the downside there is that's $20. You actually have to buy that. That's not something that is free. The upside is this is actually certified with that DTS audio, so it should work very well. Personally, I don't use consoles very often, so it's not something that I'm going to buy, but the option is there if you want to use it. What would be nice down the road is some of these headsets that have the app on PC, bringing that over to consoles. And I know that's going to be a huge issue with just working with that company, which is why they haven't done it. but it would be nice to see because that means you get these customizations that you would find on PC are going to be on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and the Nintendo Switch. I think Nintendo would be the hardest potentially to work with, but because most of these things work on Windows 10 and 11, the easiest route I think would be porting these things over to the Xbox Series X. Next, I think it would be harder to work with PlayStation, but the most difficult, of course, I think would be Nintendo, just because they keep everything just kind of under wraps. They want everything in their ecosystem to stay there. They don't want anything to leave. After that, we have the ear cups. This has that polyurethane on it, that pleather. I wish you had a fabric option, because these will get hot with longer play sessions. So at about the 45 to 60 minute mark, I've been playing a game for a while, obviously dependent upon the room temperature, my ears do start to get sweaty with these. If you have the fabric version, they still get hot, but they don't get like sweaty because that fabric kind of helps absorb that a little bit. Where this, you're going to actually wipe off those ear cups because the sweat will stay on there. So for me, I know some people would prefer that. Just having maybe replaceable, swappable ear cups that are a mesh fabric would be really cool to see with this. Last, these have a tight grip. I've mentioned this with all of my headset reviews. I like lighter headsets because for me personally, a heavy headset just leads to a headache if I wear them for 45 minutes to an hour. So longer play sessions, I just find that it just slowly gives me a headache. I don't like pressure on my head. As a matter of fact, I actually get Botox for migraines because of this. So this is why this is in the gray area, because I know it won't apply to everybody. But if you are like me, this is something to be mindful of. It's not that they're really heavy. They're not super heavy because it's not like a heavy wireless headset. It's more to do with the pressure. It just pushes in on your head a little bit more than other wired headsets that I've used. It's not going to be something everybody will notice, but I think with longer play sessions, it may be something that wears on you a little bit. So just, I think part of that too would be if it could swivel, it would alleviate some of that. I think that would help, like I mentioned earlier in the gray area section here. But just lightening up that a little bit, I would want people to be mindful of it, but I think NZXT, if they had this so it just wasn't pushing in quite as hard, that would be nice. I actually have the height cranked all the way to the top, not because my head is that big, but because I can sit this up a little bit, and it means that there is less pressure on my head. Now the good news is that's all the gray area stuff here. So now to wrap this video up, I think NZXT has brought a solid headset to the marketplace here. Initially, again, I wasn't super impressed with it, but as I've used it more, they are offering a lot here. And the fact that you could find this at half price, that makes it a very sweet deal. So if you can get this for $50, I think this is an easy choice if you do like NZXT and you have a lot of their other peripherals. So solid aesthetics with the headset here matches the rest of what they are offering. You get really good audio on PC as well as console, depending on whether or not you're using 3D audio on the PlayStation 5 or DTS on the Xbox Series X. And then the microphone again here is so good. Very, very solid microphone that you could record content with if you needed to. So that is going to wrap this video up. If you have any questions about this, let me know in the comment section. I will have a link for this in the description if you want to pick it up. And again, check back for those sales because you can get this at a really good price point. If you like the video, hit the like button for me as it helps the channel out. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.